think of another crime. I can't. I tried. I laid in bed last night tossing and turning thinking of any other criminal activity. Would you get such privacy and protection? No, you don't.
Debbie Gunterberg, a Wisconsin native who didn't know she and her husband were victims of identity theft. For years, the IRS failed to notify Debbie and her husband Robert that someone was using Robert's social security number to file taxes. The IRS said they did not notify the Gunterbergs because tax records are private, even if it turns out you're a criminal short-circuiting the process. But now, Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson is taking action. Just last week, he introduced a bipartisan bill called the Social Security Identity Defense Act of 2015. If passed, it would require the IRS to notify people if there is reason to believe their Social Security numbers have been utilized fraudulently. For more on this topic, let's bring in Michael Atias, the tax director for Online Trading Academy. He's Skyping in from Irvine, California. Michael, people hear this and they go, wait a minute. The IRS responding to privacy concerns for people who are for all intents and purposes, criminals? They've swiped records and used Social Security numbers fraudulently. How does the IRS rationalize this?
I don't know how they rationalize this. Identity theft is a big problem in America today. And the only way you find out about it is when you make contact with the IRS. So I guess the IRS is trying to find different ways of how to encounter this problem. Bills are great. It's great that people are subjecting bills. But eventually it's on us to protect our own identity theft.
And the IRS announced this month that it plans to start a new cybercrime unit to further crack down on tax identity theft. In your opinion, will this proactive effort make a difference, or does monitoring take more than just a new unit with a few agents?
I think it will take more than this unit with a few agents. The IRS is already under great duress because of budget cuts. I don't know when the last time you went to an IRS office, but some of our clients go there and they wait 3 to 4 hours. So I don't know if a unit with 10, 20, 50 agents is going to be enough. This is a huge epidemic. The perpetrators are banking from the IRS every year over $5 billion. That's a lot of money.
Boy, yeah, that ain't chicken feed. $5 billion with a B. So with that in mind, Michael, what can people do right now to protect themselves?
First of all, you got to be careful with whom you give your Social Security and where do you do that. So if you ever get a call, somebody tells you, hey, I'm from the IRS, I want to ask you some questions, that is going to be a phony call. The IRS is first and foremost communicate with you via letters, like the old post office thing. So be careful with that. Don't give your Social Security number on different websites. Really protect your website surfing. Make sure you don't go into unwanted websites where phishing occurs, where they ask you for your Social Security. And even when you go to different service providers, really ask them the question is, what do they do about security? Do they have firewalls? Do they keep your Social Security safe? Do they share with other people? You got to be really protecting of your own Social Security.
Well, mindful of all of this, if you feel you have been victimized, where do you go? Do you go stand in line at the IRS?
Well, the IRS has a process. It's not a pleasant one. Just this last year, we had a couple of our clients go through that. And it's funny because you file a return and says somebody has filed a return for you. And then actually they treat you as like if you are the criminal, you have to fill an affidavit and then you have to do your tax return again. And then sometimes you even have to go to the police. So it's a waste of time. They don't have something that is web design where it's a little bit more friendly user on our taxpayers.
So do you believe, again, in the private sector, if the IRS came to you, do you think you could design a web-friendly page to get to the essence of the problem, Michael?
Absolutely. The IRS is not known for its innovation. That's an understatement. They can get a group of professionals. There's a lot of very savvy people out there that can help them. So you can take the tech people with the tax people, with marketing people, and create a website that is secure, that people actually can approach it and go through this process a lot more easier than it is today.
So the bottom line is this. If you think you're getting a phone call from somebody claiming to be from the IRS. That is phony. You tell the caller, well, if you've got something to communicate, send it to me by mail. Thank you very much. Click. Correct?
Correct. Or you can be more adventurous. Like one of my clients actually offered this person to come to his ranch and meet him, and he had the police waiting for him, but the perpetrator never came because he knew that our client was savvy enough not to release personal information. So
these criminals, in a weird way, you got to give them credit. It's almost diabolical what they are doing in terms of identity theft and the money they are ripping off from taxpayers. Michael Atias, Tax Director for the Online Trading Academy. Sir, we thank you very much for your time. We heard what Michael had to say. What do you have to say? Send me your comments via email. There's also Facebook and Twitter. We're coming back.